We've always had room in our hearts for film and TV, not just on Netflix, but tape and disc and theaters. Also, God forbid that they take it all away and leave us nothing to broadcast to loyal listeners. We'll binge watch every single movie, so you don't have to. What else are we here for? Coming to you every week. Listen to us while you're busy. Luckily, we forgot to grow up. Hey everybody, it's Craig.
Hey, it's Scott.
It's Andrew.
Welcome to episode number 6 of the Forgot to Grow Up podcast. On this episode, we're going to talk about the long-promised Thor movie that we all saw. We're going to go into our favorite musical TV episodes. We're going to do a little bit of talking about some DC movies, and then we're going to end it all off with everybody's favorite segment, WWWTW, the segment formerly known as What We Watched This Week. So, I finally saw Thor. And Andrew, you were there, and I enjoyed it. How was it the second time?
It was just as good the second time as it was the first one. Scott.
Yes.
I'm the goddess of death. What are you the god of again?
I'm definitely the god of thunder. Maybe.
Maybe.
I kind of got the beard for it.
More of the god of lightning, but
yeah, that's one thing I've always hated about that term. Why
he never uses thunder once.
Yeah, thunder's just the noise that happens after lightning, but okay. I really liked in the movie that they kept making fun of that he was a god, though.
Yeah.
The
Lord of Thunder. Seductive Lord of Thunder.
Something. Yeah, that I really enjoyed. Jeff
the
Goldblum
seductive Lord of Thunder. Seductive God of Thunder.
Yeah, it was a great movie. How did you guys like the fact that it was probably one of the more of a comedy-based Marvel movie?
I liked it. I mean, I think they took a good direction off it, just because the first two were they were the more subpar Marvel movies. They were still great, but people kind of accepted them a little less, especially after the Dark World.
Yeah, no one liked the Dark World.
Yeah,
even though I rewatched that and it has a few it's still
a good
decent movie,
but
it's still an okay. It's just it's compared to all the other Marvel movies. It's not the same level. It's that's what makes it stick out so much. It's like a sore thumb, and it's just because it's missing certain plots and certain plot points. And certain elements along the storyline, and it just was a little convoluted. I watched it before I went and saw this last weekend, or 2 weeks ago for me now, and I liked a few the fight scenes were good, but it was also kind of just where did these elves come? You kind of know where the elves come from, but they're where have they been for 4,000 years? Just
why hasn't anything been mentioned before?
Exactly, and it's why didn't they maybe do something before they came and tried to get this whatever it was? But obviously it was just mainly to tie in that one Infinity Stone, and they needed a second Thor movie. But we're not talking about the second Thor. We're talking about Thor Ragnarok.
Boom.
Try to get back in there.
I gotta say, I think Chris Hemsworth did the best job in this one. Acting wise, I feel like he was able to be a little more of himself rather than just being that kind of condescending dick.
I actually wrote down, I'm Chris Hemsworth is too funny for being that good looking. I'm just it's not right. It's like Ryan Reynolds all over again. It's why are you pretty people?
One talent per, okay, guys?
Exactly, yeah. Just you get one, maybe two. They're pretty decent actors as well. So they're pretty and they're actors. But now they're funny too. It's what are you leaving for us normal people?
It's like Brad Paisley, Scott, or Craig?
Yeah, that man's unfair.
He sings. He plays a guitar. He's funny. He's charming. He's handsome.
Not only does he sing and play the guitar, he sings and then plays the most insane things on the guitar at the same time.
God damn.
Anyway,
this
is a movie podcast and not a country music podcast.
We're keeping it away from Thor Ragnarok.
Well, Brad Paisley does rock, so Ragnarok.
Man,
that's the connection you want to bring it back with.
That's a segue.
How about we go with rock, and there's the rock dude in it, who's actually played by the director. Yeah, I don't know if you guys knew that. That was the director, Taika Waititi, which I thought I really enjoyed his part, except I felt like he was maybe in a little too much of it, just a little bit. Maybe
See,
like 5 to 10% too much. Just like I get you want to be in the movie because you're the director, but like you're like a pretty like heavy supported cast member and the director. So it's just like I felt like they could have cut like 1 or 2 of his scenes. I really enjoyed them. Like he's really funny. I'm gonna go check out like his other movies now, just because I'm like, oh, I really enjoyed Thor so much. I have to go see his like other 3 movies that he's made, because like I really enjoyed Thor and I really enjoyed his type of humor, right? Like all of the times he did come in with the dry kind of, just like, clueless, dumb rock dude. Like, oh, I tried to start a resistance.
Piss off, Ghost.
Oh, that was good too. Yeah, I tried to start a resistance, but I didn't print off enough
I gave it to my mom and her boyfriend. I hate that guy.
Yeah. So he was really funny, but it just like I felt like a couple times it took me like out of the fact that it was not that it was a Thor movie. Just I was just like, oh yeah, he's there too. I felt like he was like the third star of it almost.
I feel like
you know what I mean?
His character just needs his own solo movie.
He does. I would agree with that. I would watch that. Him and that like whatever that maybe not the bug thing. The bug
Meek?
thing wasn't as funny. Yeah.
Not
Meek was
Meek?
better in the cartoons, I think. Like a little bit. The Planet Hulk animated movie. I'm not sure if you saw that. I liked Meek in that. Like that seemed a little bit more like like it worked. Like in Thor, I'm having trouble even remembering what Meek even looked like now. It's been like
he was
2
like
weeks.
he kind of looked like a bigger version of the little aliens from Men in Black.
Okay, yeah.
Like
okay.
like a bigger one of those, but with swords.
Yeah,
for arms.
okay.
Swords
exactly.
for hands.
For hands, yeah.
But then doesn't he get all chopped up before the? Oh, we're doing spoilers, by the way.
Spoilers.
It's over a week old.
Yeah, it is true. We gave them that as a rule, but just in case someone's just listening for the first time, we only give it a week, people. So spoilers just before we get into it.
A week or until all of us see it.
Yeah, exactly. Whichever happens first.
Yeah. But he loses his arms and his legs, and then Korg steps on him.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then he's like, I feel really bad, so I've just been carrying his body around all day.
Which is
Guys!
so morbid. It's like it's just like messed up a little bit, but like it's just funny the way he plays it off because he's a big dumb rock guy.
Well, yeah, just like when he's talking about Doug, how Doug took on the champion and then he died. We'll call you New Doug.
New Doug.
Oh,
Another
goodbye,
day,
New
another
Doug.
Doug.
Another day, another Doug.
But this is all what I mean, though. Like we're talking more about Taika Waititi's character in Thor Ragnarok than Thor in Thor Ragnarok. Like that's what I meant. Like I felt like he did distract away from it a few times. Just a couple times, it was just like a little bit like, oh, there he is. Like I think they could have saved a few of his things for like
bloopers,
or like exactly,
or used
like
it in
credits.
like
During
credit
the credits,
scenes, yeah.
like credit bloopers is what I was thinking. Because I was thinking about that earlier today. I missed that. Like Rush Hour. I remember the Rush Hour movies always had the blooper reels during the trailer at the end. And I'm like, whatever happened to that? Like we get all these post-credit scenes now. I want bloopers during the like in between that now. So like roll credits, give me bloopers, and then give me my post-credit scene, and then some more bloopers during the credits.
Here we go. I can give you a best of both worlds scenario.
Yeah.
The entire conversation they have about Thor riding his hammer.
Yeah.
And then the hammer, what does he say? The hammer pulls you off?
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever.
That would have been a perfect thing.
Make that a conversation between him and Thor just sitting on the ship as they're flying off into space. Just private conversation where they talk about that.
Exactly.
Exact same conversation, just, mid-credit
at the end of the movie. Yeah, exactly. That would have made his character a little less present in the movie, I felt. Which, like, I get why he was so present. Like, he's a big character in the Planet Hulk storyline, and this was kind of an amalgamation of
the two,
Thor Ragnarok and Planet Hulk. It's Planet Hulk, right?
Yeah, Planet Hulk. Yeah.
I almost got it mixed up with World War Hulk for a second. I'm like, no, that's when he comes back. But yeah, so like I get it's an amalgamation, so they threw his character in a little bit more. I just felt it distracted me from the movie just a little bit, even though I enjoyed it still. Like I really enjoyed his character, and I enjoyed the whole movie. But let's get away from Korg. Who else did you like from this? Who was your next who was your favorite in this movie?
See,
either of you.
I gotta say, I went back like you and rewatched the first and the second one before seeing this one the first time.
Yeah.
And man, Chris Hemsworth looks like a little baby in the other ones.
It's
Like with the
I know
long
what you
hair
mean.
and the lack of like he has 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, his beard
like-
isn't completely full to these recent ones, or it doesn't
Yeah.
like suit his face as much till more recently. I
Yeah.
agree.
And he's just so much more shredded now than he was in the first one.
Well, yeah, he just had more time. Like that's
Yeah,
one
well,
thing I was
well,
like,
like even in the first ones, he wasn't that muscular. He had the shoulders for it, but
yeah, I know what you mean, but I
But-
just give that a time as like I just give
Yeah.
that credit over time because like if you look back at like Hugh Jackman in the first Wolverine,
oh yeah, it
he
took
didn't
him
look as
20
good.
years to.
Yeah, it took him like I would say 10 years before he got to the like oh my god look at Wolverine kind of guy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and then it was like oh shit yeah, and it's like then he became that icon, and I think it's the same way with Thor. He's just
Thor, yeah.
it took him a little more time to get into it. He is a pretty young guy. I think he was 30. Well, not too
Yeah, I
young,
think it's
he's
like 31 or 32
Yeah,
or something.
exactly.
Yeah.
So he's pretty young, and I mean, I think it also helped that like maybe he was like I don't want to say he was maybe dyeing his beard before, like because it used to be lighter. I feel it's
Well, it
darker
was a
now.
lot shorter before.
Okay, so maybe that's more what it
Like
was.
it was
yeah.
like it was like a straight up 5 o'clock shadow. He didn't really
Okay.
have much going on.
So yeah, now he's got a little more thickness. And that
Yeah,
kind
now
of-
he's got a full on beard going, right? So,
Yeah, which makes it look better. I think that helps.
Yeah.
I like the short hair too. Like I feel like he
Oh,
looks
yeah.
better with short hair as just a general. Like he didn't look bad with long hair, but I like and
It
you know,
suits him better, especially
it
with
does
the
suit him
beard.
better. Yeah, exactly. And it's he looks badass, and I really enjoyed his like Chris Hemsworth portrayal throughout the whole thing. Like I've always enjoyed
Oh,
him
yeah.
as Thor, but this is probably my favorite one of like his portrayal of Thor so far. Like my favorite Chris Hemsworth Thor appearance is this movie, just because he was hilarious. He was great. He just like play because he's one thing like I do like about the like I kind of noticed from the other movies that he always is playing the like not dumb but kind of like arrogantly like
Yeah.
dumb. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah,
like he kind of like so arrogant that it makes him a little dumb. Like because he doesn't always think things through because he thinks he's
He's-
strong enough and power. He's invincible, so he thinks
Yeah.
he can just do whatever. And in this one, I felt was the best like portrayal of him still like having that little bit of not like that's still like kind of dumb like arrogance, but not as bad. Like he's a little more humbled in this one. He's the most humbled I feel in this one.
especially
appearances.
when they actually go and they fight Hela,
Yeah,
and he
exactly.
realizes everything.
Exactly, yeah, and it's just like he's not as arrogant, and he's finally grown, which is why again spoilers, people. He becomes king finally at the end, and even Loki doesn't fight him for it, which I felt. I really liked their character development throughout the
Yeah.
movie as well. Like,
See, I like that you mentioned him becoming king because I like that they, spoilers, major spoilers. I like that they managed to tie it in that he like almost becomes Odin, like in the comic books.
yeah,
He actually becomes Odin and like he loses
Yeah,
the
loses
eye and,
the
and
eye.
everything. Like,
Yeah.
I love that he he loses the eye just like Odin. It's a nice tie-in.
yeah,
be
exactly.
like-
A little
that they took that
maybe a
from the
little
comic books,
foreshadowing
too.
too.
Oh yeah,
Like I have a little bit of an opinion that like there's still like because in in Thor Ragnarok, like the comic book, like the whole thing is that like Ragnarok happens and then they're all reborn. So I feel like that might be a little bit of what might happen after Infinity Wars.
yeah, probably.
Is some kind of like, oh, we get either him coming back and now he's Odin and there's a new Thor so that we can go ahead, or maybe he just comes back as a new Thor and Odin comes back again and they bring back the Warriors 3 and Sith, who they spoilers again, people, they just straight up murdered in this movie.
Yeah, fucking aggressively.
Yeah, but I also think that they did that on purpose. Like I heard some theories that like somebody was saying like, oh, well, Taika Waititi just kind of killed them and didn't give them any respect, and I'm like, I think that was intentional because I feel like they might pop up in one of the Avengers movies, the next two Avengers movies. Because with the Infinity Gauntlet, you can do fucking anything. So why
Oh,
can't
yeah.
they come back? So it's like, well, if we just killed them off quickly, then maybe people won't think too much about it, or just think we didn't care, and then when they come back, bam, surprise.
Well,
It's
don't
like-
quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure always forget his name. I call him like Despero. I can't remember his name. But the guy who uses like the fucking musketeer sword.
Okay, just one of the Warriors 3. I don't know.
Yeah, one of
I only know them and then Lady Sif.
Okay, so not the Asian guy who uses the flail.
No, I know who you're talking about. The guy they changed.
Not Vorstag or Volstagg who uses the axe.
Gimlet, yeah.
Gimli, yeah.
He's Gimli.
Yeah. The skinny Despero dude who uses the weird
or
little
Prince
sword
Charming,
thing. Yeah, him. I'm pretty sure that's the third different one. Because he doesn't look like the last one.
I'm not sure.
But they only showed him for about 4 seconds.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't sure. I'm like, maybe he's just worse for wear. Because I knew they changed him from the first one to the second one, which I didn't know until like 2 weeks ago when I rewatched it. Because in the first one, it's actually the dude who plays Prince Charming in Once Upon a Time. Like, that's the same actor in the first one.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, oh, I like him. And then he doesn't come back for the second one. And then the second one, he's like this a little bit more of a whiny guy. And I'm like,
You're not Prince Charming.
Like, you look a little bit more like a weasel. like that's all I think when I see you now. Like, you seem like the weasel type, so it's whatever. But that's my theory why they killed them off so quickly, though, is that I think they're going to probably bring it back somehow in the one of the Avengers Infinity War things coming up.
That's a good theory. You got any ideas on it, Craig?
Nope. You're just going to be this big, long dragon track on yours now.
What did you enjoy most about it?
I liked that it was funny. That was definitely entertaining to me.
I was gonna say that would. I feel this one would appeal most to you in that sense.
Well, I liked the other two Thor movies as well, but this one I did like a lot because it was funny, and then I like Chris Hemsworth too. So there's that, and that's pretty much all the thoughts I have on that movie. I'm glad I saw it. Is that
piss off,
a
Ghost?
Good answer?
What did you think of the Hulk, at least, Craig? Just give me a little something about that. What did you think of the Hulk being the Hulk?
I had forgotten that he was even in it, which shows you how long ago I watched the trailer. And then yeah, that's my opinion on it.
Okay, well,
I remembered that he was in it.
Andrew, what was your opinion on the Hulk?
See, I didn't know what direction to think about it. Like at first, because I thought they might do like in the animated version of Planet Hulk, where like the Hulk just the Hulk and Banner have like agreed to use like Hulk's body and his brawn, but use Banner's brain.
Yeah, but
but then they kept them separated. But the Hulk's also, he's 2 years old now. He's had that ability to develop a character because he's been him for so long.
Yeah, that he had characteristics and learn stuff. Yeah,
I like that they did that. I mean, I'm hoping they don't kind of muck it up in the future because I feel like that's a very it's a very tense situation to play with him now.
It worked well because this was a comedy. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like within the next movie, it might not next
because
appearance of Hulk. Yeah.
At the end of it, he still hasn't switched back to Banner, and Banner admitted I might not.
Yeah, I might not come back. The Hulk doesn't want to be Banner.
Yeah.
And so it's like because Banner doesn't ever want to be the Hulk really, but
yeah.
So it's like this weird clash,
Yeah, now I'm thinking, okay, maybe they're going to be able to tie it in where they use the Hulk's body but Banner's brain. Maybe they go that direction. Or they almost make them two separate characters, which could be problematic themselves.
I feel like they're maybe leaning on the two separate characters thing, it seems to me. I think they're kind of going for their own, like, Jekyll Hyde thing going on because, like, especially with the fact that, like...
Call back...
Yeah, a little callback to my some older episodes, but I think like especially with the one scene where Banner where you actually see Banner in Thor Ragnarok and he goes to try to change into the Hulk and he just bounces off the bridge.
Yeah,
which I loved.
That's
it was
kind
hilarious.
of a joke, like from the Incredible Hulk, where he jumps out, where Edward Norton jumps out of the helicopter and just crashes into the friggin' road.
Yeah, and it's like. I thought it was really funny too, and I just kind of was like, well, it also seems that he doesn't exactly have the control over it like he thinks, but I don't know if that was just a little bit more plot. It was more like, did they try to lean on the joke more, or is it like more of a plot, like or like a character point. Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
Yep, yeah, I'm picking up on you. Yeah.
Yeah, like, cause like I think I honestly haven't seen that like Edward, or is Edward Norton?
Yeah.
Who did I haven't seen that Incredible Hulk in ages, so I forgot about that scene until I actually saw it in another YouTube video that was going over that like that happened. So I didn't know that it had happened before, but I think in that context it was because he wasn't like afraid. And so it was like, oh, there's no need for the Hulk if you're not afraid. You got to be angry to bring out the Hulk. Like, you know what I mean? You have to have adrenaline for the Hulk to get activated. So if you're just, accepting that you're going to be the Hulk, then there's no reason for the Hulk. Does that make sense?
Yeah. See, for me, like when he jumps out of the the hover ship or whatever, leaves Valkyrie there.
Yeah.
I almost felt like they did that scene just because the Hulk's trying to spite Banner. Be like, I don't come when you need me to come. I come when I need me to come. Like that's how I took it.
That's actually, I like that. I like
because
that
they gave
better.
the Hulk that that 2-year-old, that young toddler
that's
mentality.
A very like now that you say that, I'm like, that's such a thing the Hulk would do.
Like that's how I took it.
To be a dick to Banner. Yeah, no,
yeah. Just to spite him, right?
Honestly, you just made me change my whole opinion about it. I'm like, I like that better. Like, I like that. It's like the Hulk was like, "Screw you, Banner. I'll come when I want to come."
Exactly. like they do so much effort in this, or put so much effort in this movie, to make sure that they're two separate people.
Yeah.
Like the whole Thor pretending like he prefers one over the other thing.
That was my favorite thing.
No, Banner, he's all like, science, I like you.
You're the man. You're my favorite. We're friends. You're my best friend.
Like, no, the Hulk's all smash. No, you're all science. I like you.
I think Chris Hemsworth did a great job of playing that off. Like, really kind of like, I don't want to say obviously, but like, comedically is the best way, I guess, to put it. And it was just like, so it's such a great delivery. He has very, very, very good comic delivery, I think. Like, that's one thing I think like brought this. Like, I don't think another actor could have just be placed in for him in this movie, because it's just like the timing and just like who the character obviously is makes it obvious. But just I think he did just such a perfect job of being able to portray that kind of like balance of like arrogance / charming kind of
/ glorious purpose.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, it's so great. And it's just like, it was just a fun thing to watch.
I like that no matter what he does, him and Loki still have that like little kid brotherly bond. Like in every movie, like even in the Avengers, like when they're shit talking Loki, he's like, "That's my brother."
Well, he's adopted.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say that too. I'm like, I really enjoy their relationship, because it kind of reminds me of how me and my brothers can be sometimes. It's like, you don't always get along, but at the end of the day, the very, very end of the day, you're like, he's gonna actually show up eventually. But I also like that they kind of like made it really obvious to like Loki that like everyone gets that his tricks are so old that like everybody knows what he's gonna do.
Oh yeah, so like when they're trying to steal the ship.
Yeah, exactly.
And he ghosts out.
Exactly, and there's no one's surprised about it or anything. It's just like, yeah, okay, we all knew you were gonna do that. And then finally he, at the end, you see him end off, Thor throwing something at him and him actually being there and be like, oh, see, he wants to actually be able to surprise Thor again.
The third time something got thrown at him that show.
Yeah.
Or that movie.
Well, it was a running kind of gag because, in all the other ones, every time that's happened, he's not there. And it's kind of like a funny thing being like, why would we trust that you're actually there, Loki? Like, there's no reason for us to trust you now when you've, for 2-3 movies before, have dicked around with us. And I like that he did, turn it around the most in this one out of all of them, and like actually like step up the most. He had a couple badass fight scenes. I liked when him and Valkyrie actually, when they first met and they punched it out a little bit.
Oh yeah, and then he fucking like reads her memory.
Exactly, sends her a little back, and I was like, oh damn, I didn't know you. That's cool, nice. Should probably use that more often on people, maybe.
Yeah,
that'd be more helpful. But okay, whatever. Can you read people's minds? That would speed up so many more of these movies.
They're gods, man. You don't know what their powers are.
That's true. Speaking of the gods, what did you think of Hela? How'd you?
See, I thought she might have been one of the better Marvel villains, but then at the same time, she didn't really do a whole hell of a lot.
No,
Other
she wasn't
than
in a lot
wiping
of the
people
movie.
out, that's
Well, she was a little bit overpowered. That's the thing. So
Yeah.
it's like you can't really have her doing like you can't spend the whole movie
like
like, watching
she
her.
got impaled twice.
Yeah.
Then she got hit by the biggest bolt of lightning that's ever been.
She's the goddess of death. You can't expect to make it be easy
Yeah.
for her to die. Like she's like I said before, overpowered. There's a reason Odin had to lock her away and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
thought
really liked her portrayal.
I thought it was
though.
very well portrayed.
Yeah.
I just felt like her character was just a little, it was a little over the top for the fact that they didn't really use her for much.
Fair enough. Yeah, I could see that. I know what you mean.
Like it was the whole story to me. It seemed more of a growth story than anything else. Like there wasn't like rather than being just action and having to fight the big bad villain, it seemed more of a growth story than anything.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of helped play in with the comedy aspect because, like, whenever you have even with action comedies, you have to like lean a little more on the story and the funny and the development of a plot or characters. But I felt her character like had an okay amount of screen time. Like I liked what screen time she did have. I felt was kind of like well portrayed, and she did a really good job of like kind of commanding the scene and being just this like comic book supervillain. Just that was my favorite part about her. She knew how powerful she was, and she wasn't afraid to just make stupid jokes that supervillains do make because they're all like that. They're all
Like
super
the monologues.
arrogant.
Yeah.
Exactly. And she's just like badass, and I love the move that she does with the hair, like the freaking crown thing. That was just a badass move. Just like
To get the horns, yeah.
Exactly, and it was just cool. And I like that she had her own like solo fight scene, because that scene she didn't have to like go individually like actually kill the Warriors
Everyone.
3. Exactly, like she could have just done some like spell thing, knock them all down or whatever. But she she wanted to actually get her hands a little dirty, and I thought that was a pretty badass scene. So I like that, and this is like the first time I've ever found what's her name attractive, to be honest.
Yeah, I never found her attractive in the slightest until like
Just
something.
this movie. Only this movie.
Yeah,
I think it was the
only that movie.
eyeliner.
I think she just looks better with black hair.
I agree too. That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, it's probably like it's weird because normally a blonde person, but I really liked her black hair and the eyeliner probably, and the heels. Heels always help. I'm getting sidetracked. Besides Hela though, who else was around in this movie?
Jeff
Yeah,
Goldblum, who didn't really do a whole hell of a lot himself.
Except for Jeff Goldblum. I
Jeff
like that they
Goldblum,
inserted him playing the piano at one point.
Yeah, for
Like,
no
just
reason.
casually, just while he's talking to him, just like play. I'm like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
nice. Like, like why not? Like they don't draw any attention to. Like they don't pan down to it. You just see like his hands.
He's just doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, nice. I like I enjoyed it just so much. Like
Anywhere else, I'd be millions of years old, but here on Sakaar, nothing. No,
just dead.
nothing else. Just leave it.
And that was just so great because it was like it's like the perfect place. Like I feel like the Marvel universe is the perfect place to have Jeff Goldblum just be able to play himself in a role. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah,
if he wasn't the what was it, Game Master? Grandmaster, my bad. The Grandmaster, I would want him to just be something else in the Marvel universe, just so that I could have Jeff Goldblum pop up for these random little things just to enjoy. But the fact that he's I'm not sure if you knew this, but he's supposed to be in the comics, at least he's related to
he's the brother of the Collector.
Yeah, so I hope that they do that connection just to bring Jeff Goldblum back some more.
I think they will. I mean, they're both so done up in the makeup, and they do have like the similar look. So
and they both had the same post-credit scene, if I'm not mistaken.
do they?
Similar? It didn't I missed one of the post-credit scenes in Thor, but I heard about him afterwards, and one of them I heard was him like looking over his like ruined thing, and he was, or maybe was that
kind of. It was Sakaar got he's on the outskirts of Sakaar.
Yeah.
And like we're the people who are like, well, you're either are you fighting or are you food? Like those
okay, yeah,
guys. It was another group of them kind of just looking at him, and he's like, oh well, you can't have a revolution, without the person to overthrow. So we both did our parts. It was just like a really, really awkward scene.
Okay.
It was funny, but...
Okay, well... I didn't know it was just like that. I thought it was a little different from what I heard described.
That was more or less it.
Okay.
Like,
well,
I think I know the scene you're thinking of, where
Yeah.
the collector's like sitting in his destroyed collection with Howard the Duck having
That's
a
how
drink.
it was described to me, being similar to like that. Like someone made that comparison is what I saw in like a YouTube video. So that's what I thought, but my mistake.
Kind of close.
But the fact that they both had a post-credit scene, I think, is a little like
Yeah.
connection that like a Kevin Feige, like deep connection that he's like, yeah, no one's gonna get this, but this is me doing this. You know what I mean? Like just Kevin Feige having to fuck around because he's Kevin Feige.
Because you can.
Exactly. Which I mean, I would too. If I could do it, if I had one wish, it'd probably be to take over Kevin Feige's life. Or
If
Jeff
I
Jones.
could have just one wish, I wish you could segue just like this. Okay, so our
Your
next
segue's
segment-
early because there was one more thing to talk about.
Oh,
that
damn.
None of you brought up about Thor, and of all people to actually notice it and bring it up to me, it was Ray, sitting beside me on Saturday night. He leans over during the scene where where Loki's having the actors act out the thing, and he goes,
That's Matt
"Is
Damon.
that Matt Damon?"
Matt Damon, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice that till
And
someone.
the other one's
afterwards,
one of
to
the
be honest with you.
Hemsworth brothers.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one from Westworld. He looks
Yeah.
exactly like my boss. My boss.
Shout outs to Scott's boss.
They look identical. It scares me some days. I'm just like, dude, boss, do you have like are you a Hemsworth? Are you secretly a Hemsworth? Like, you say your last name's Scott, but I'm like, is that a cover? Are you?
Is it just because your name is Scott?
Well,
He's trying to psych you out.
maybe this whole confusing thing at the office. But yeah, no, actually, you're right, Craig. I didn't notice that it was Matt Damon during the, like when I was watching it in theaters. Totally missed that it was Matt Damon. I picked up on the other, like every other actor, missed Matt Damon, and then I found out like 2 days after I watched a review about it, and I'm like, oh, I missed that. So you're right.
I was a little disappointed to see that it was Matt Damon, just because now it means Matt Damon can't be any other character.
Oh well, they can do that. Well, that's not 100% true. Because they've recast within they recast extras before, like what's her name, the girl, the woman who was from How to Get Away with Murder, who was also in.
Oh yeah, she was also in Luke Cage.
Yeah, Luke Cage and in Civil War.
But she was also in Civil War.
Exactly.
Talking to Tony.
So it's like they don't mind you doing a little bit of that. So maybe Matt Damon could come hang out on like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something.
Pitches.
Maybe he can be on the second season of Inhumans.
Is it
Now
even
we
going
can
to get a
move on
second
to-
season?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later
Apparently
during
not.
what I watch.
Now we can go on to segment number 2, which, as Andrew alluded to before, has to do with music.
Yeah, I thought it was a solid singing segue. About
Yeah,
It was,
Craig
but-
ruined it.
But you went way too fast, and I wanted to bring up Matt Damon, and I was giving you guys the chance to, and then I was waiting for a lull, and then all of a sudden it's a segue. I'm like, wait!
it is good that you mentioned it, Craig, because I forgot to write it down. Just because
I had to mention something.
But
Well, so
segue.
you were quiet for about 24 minutes there.
Yes, I was. So
Yeah,
I felt like I had to contribute to the conversation in some way.
So it's time for you to contribute. What are your top musical episodes?
of TV
Man,
shows.
TV shows.
You weren't supposed to go to me first.
Well,
I've
Craig, we'll go to
only
you
got-
first to
I-
get the 2 over with that you have, and then we're done.
I've only got 3.
Oh, damn, 3.
Oh, 3. My
Yeah.
bad. My bad.
I've only
Maybe-
got 3.
Maybe we should reorder this.
So the first one I'm going to talk about is actually the first one that came to mind, and then it was confirmed when I went to look it up. The Girls vs. Suits episode of How I Met Your Mother.
Okay,
That,
yeah.
I think
That's
we
a
all
good
have
one.
that
qualifies
episode.
as a musical episode. That was the
I'm
first
going
one
to
that came to
accept
mind.
it, just because we used to have Suit Up Fridays in 12B.
Yes, and I have that episode on my list as well, so that double counts.
And then the other one that I thought of without having to hit the internet was the Psych the Musical episode.
Okay, yep.
Which was also there. And then I didn't remember that I'd watched this, but then I found it online. Gallivant was a musical
Gallivant.
starring Timothy Omenson
That's a movie.
from Psych. No, it's a series.
Oh, Oh, wait. Yeah, no, you're... Yeah,
It's a comedy musical medieval series.
That's
starring
like
Timothy
half a
Omenson,
season.
who plays
Timothy Osmondson?
who plays
Carlton
Lassie
Lassiter.
on
Oh my God.
yes, on Psych.
I didn't even think of that.
Except he's got a gigantic flow and a beard,
Yeah.
Oh, so sexy.
and he sings.
Damn.
I wanted to check out that show out of curiosity because...
It's on
Like-
Netflix.
Oh, okay. That's why I was curious about it. I remember seeing that. That's hilarious. That's a nice reference there. I like that, Craig.
Those are.
But have you ever seen that show? Is my question.
Yes, I have.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
Just
I
making
watched
sure.
at least the entire first season. I can't remember how much of it I did watch, but I did watch a lot of it.
Nice.
So yeah, that's all I've got.
What do you have, Scott?
Well, I've got a few things. Like I said, I had How I Met Your Mother on my list before, but my favorite by far is a more recent one that happened just within the last couple, I think this year sometime, and that was the Flash Supergirl musical episode.
Man, you guys have taken three of my things.
Man, we both knew that we were both gonna have this one. We can both talk
That-
about this right now because
for
we
sure.
both know I loved it. I know
That
you loved
episode
it.
of The Flash, I mean, it had really nothing to do with The Flash, but I loved it because, first of all, the story was good.
It had a good plot for a musical.
It was a good plot for the story. I love me some Victor Garber.
Victor Garber singing just like made my whole day. That and what's Jesse L. Martin? Jesse L. Martin? Is that Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in
Anytime
Rent.
I know, and anytime that man sings, my heart melts a little bit,
Yep.
and I'm in a happier place. Like I am never as happy as when I hear that guy sing because he just has a beautiful voice, and I just hear Rent anytime he sings. But he was great in this episode too, just singing about his daughter and how he loved this gay dude.
Him and his husband's daughter.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh yeah, throw that in there. Why not? That's
Make
one thing
it
I do like
happen.
about Flash. They'll just do that anytime. Like anytime there's an alternate dimension, new gay couple, and I'm like, yeah, do it. Make someone new gay. Why not?
See,
I'm
I'm
bored
pretty,
with that.
I'm pretty sure that entire episode, because they have guys from each episode coming in and singing and playing characters for no reason.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure the only reason they did it is they just kind of walked around the sets and like, hey, can you kind of sing?
Who can actually sing
Come on,
here?
come
Yeah,
on,
well, 'cause
come
the
on, come on,
Flash was
Malcolm
from-
Merlin, let's go, Malcolm Merlin, let's go.
Well, one thing I didn't know until that episode happened was that like the Flash was from Glee. Like, did you know that? The actor who plays
Grant-
the Flash? Yeah, he was on Glee.
Grant Gustin was on The Flash, or he was on Glee?
That's what I saw when I
Jeez.
when that came out. Yeah, I don't know if he was
I
like a
had no
star or
idea.
something, but that's where so that's like how they knew he could sing, and that was a whole thing.
Wow.
And yeah, obviously Supergirl, Melissa
Benoit?
Benoit. Thank you.
I think that's how it's pronounced.
Let's hope so.
She sings almost
oh my
as good as
God.
she looks.
and that's just really saying something. Like,
Because,
she's a looker.
damn.
And
Damn.
wow, she has an amazing voice, and it was just that whole episode just.
What was the
It's
song? She's
honestly-
Moon River or something like that?
I
like
think so,
right
something
like
like that,
right
yeah.
as they introduce her, you're like, oh my goodness. My
Oh.
heart.
It just that whole episode just takes me to like a happier place. Like it's probably the one episode I've watched the most of all those
Yep.
episodes because I really enjoy it. Like I'm a sucker for a musical, but it has to be a
Yep.
good one, and they just
It-
did such a great job in that one.
Oh yeah, it puts a little love in your heart.
I was just about to say that.
That's a nice little pun,
Put a
Craig, in
little
case you didn't know.
love-
Because that's a song they sing. That's great.
Yeah, and I like how they like explain the whole they justify having a musical episode. That's always one of my favorite ways, like in any show.
Just literally just to put a little love in people's heart.
Exactly, and that's the reason this guy showed up. And I'm sure, and
Yeah.
they can bring him back whenever, and it was very kind of true to the comics in that way, because the character who they had, Mr. Picklick,
What do they call him? Like Music Maestro
Mixel
or something like
Pixelix. No, that's just a character. His name's just Mixel Pixelix, and he's just a
Oh.
dude that fucks around with people because he's a
that?
multi.
I thought they called him Music Maestro or something like that. I thought that was his like code name.
His
That might have been his
character
code
is
name.
called the Music
Yeah.
Meister.
Okay, that might have been his code. I know it's like they have to say Mixel Piddleick or get
Yeah.
him to say that to get him to disappear or something. But yeah, I just liked how they like justified it with that, and like that's my favorite thing about most like of these shows is the way they kind of like justify how like why is everyone singing this episode out of nowhere? You know what I
They
mean?
just bring guys in for no reason. Yeah.
Exactly, and it's just like I like how they're just like, okay, we got to write into the story that this guy has a thing for music. Like that's the same with the next thing on my list. If we're ready to transition from,
Let's do it.
so the next thing on my list is Buffy/Angel, which both had musical episodes.
See, I never. I know it's kind of blasphemous. I never got into either of those shows.
No, I could see that.
They were not for me.
I could see that. I watch them because I like some bad TV sometimes. And
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, man.
It's like I'm a sucker for a Monster of the Week. Like a good Monster of the Week show, I love because I can just sit there and I know what to expect every episode. But they always have like overarching plots throughout the season, and that's what I always like about it. But I can see why you didn't watch Buffy or Angel, but they both had a musical episode. Each had their own musical episode because it's 2 separate series. And the Buffy one was just, it was great because they just brought in this demon who was just this jazz demon who just curses the whole town, and everyone has to sing everything. And the whole episode is just like a different different song style or different like song styles and stuff like that, different genres, and it's just such a great fun like episode because the whole thing's a musical, and it's just like funny how they like kind of justify it. And they like, I honestly have downloaded 3 of the songs from that episode before.
Was it a thriller?
Really
Music puns.
one of them was actually a little bit thriller-esque.
Oh my god. Go figure.
But it was the show was about vampires, so
That's true. That's true.
But that was the next one on my list. But that was mainly just because like it was good music and like I liked how they tied it in.
Yeah.
But the only other ones I have on my list here are That 70s Show. The couple times that Fez breaks out into has a couple musical episodes. I'm not sure if you remember them.
Vaguely.
They had a whole musical episode.
Yeah, so he's like doing he's supposed to be doing like a stage performance, and he's waiting for like all his friends and family to come, but he keeps like imagining like different like scenarios that they're like off doing instead.
I remember that one. Yep.
Yeah, and the whole thing's like a musical. So that one I really liked. I haven't seen it as many times as some of these other ones, but my brother rewatches That 70 Show like every other month. So I get a little glimpse of it. So that's one of my favorite musical episodes too, just because it fits so well because Fez like is kind of like, because it's just a daydream of his, but it's kind of just like Fez is like weird like that and would obviously be daydreaming about a musical. So it's like, yeah, I like it. But yeah, so that's all I really had to say about That 70 Show. But the only other thing I had was, I'm not actually I wrote this down, but I don't know why I did because I don't really remember the musical episode of Community. Do you remember the Community?
That's on my list.
Okay, well
you guys have taken 4 out of 5.
Well, I don't want that one. I wrote that down. I don't know why I did because I don't remember it, to be honest.
The Glee episode, the Glee Club episode where they're doing like the Christmas show.
Oh.
Yeah, so region.
Yeah.
What's it called? Just a second.
Where they joke
the
about
title
going to
of the
regionals.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, regional holiday music.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
All I can like the main thing I remember is Abed and Troy singing to Pierce trying to get baby boomer Santa involved.
Okay, yeah, I'm remembering that a little bit more now that you guys.
And
are
when the
describing
commies
it
gave
to
the
me.
polio to Doris Day.
I don't remember that much more of it. I can't.
Someone comes in and takes McCartney away. Baby boomer Santa, thank you for everything. Yeah, that episode was super weird, but I mean, I love that show.
It is the Community. It is all.
I mean, if it's got Alison Brie, I don't really care. I'm gonna watch it.
I second that.
Except for her super weird, kind of kinky song that she sings to Jeff. Kind of weird, but I wasn't complaining at the same time.
It was a little like, I don't know how
Over the
how
top.
to feel about it. Yeah, exactly. That's the best way to put it. Just a little too over the top for it to be, but I think that's what they're going for too, to make it like, to like kind of
desexualize they kind of make
it.
a joke about it too, because Jeff's like, there is a point where you hit a diminutive return on the sexiness. And she's like, what's a diminutive? Yeah. Yeah, I've got that episode, and then the only other thing I have on my list is any Family Guy episode with a song in it.
It's funny you say that because I had written that down as well.
Nice. So we had pretty much the same list then, other than the Buffy.
Well, there wasn't as many. Like when I was looking back at the when I was researching for this, I realized there's not as many of them as I remember as I thought. It was just there's enough of the shows I like watching have had them that it's just like, yeah, that's good.
Well, I think a lot of shows they'll have like a signature song kind of pop up, like the How I Met Your Mother with the suit song. You know,
Yeah.
what was that? Season 5, episode 12.
Yeah, just one little episode, and it's not even the full episode.
Where they
yet.
just toss in a song. There's another one where Ted and him sing about it, their super date, just out of nowhere. Super date,
and that's your super date.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. And like Muscial always has random little songs too.
Yeah, like there's a whole episode dedicated to him writing the stupid songs.
That's
like about
true.
killing his mother-in-law's cat.
Cat funeral.
Yeah.
Cat funeral. Cat funeral.
But I think that's kind of one of my favorite. Like, I like when shows do that though. Like they throw in a random like song bit, and that's what like when you were saying with Family Guy. That's what I really enjoyed too. Is like anytime they decide to have like a musical episode, it's just like really enjoyable and a little like for me it's a little extra treat because I like Family Guy. I especially like Family Guy when they decide to sing a little bit or like parody like Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. Like when they don't have to worry about all those fellas at the freaking FCC.
Exactly.
I was just about to say, my favorite episode of Family Guy, PTV, has the
PTV?
the most catchy song.
You like that side boob? Boy, you shouldn't, because that's my
That's
side
my
boob.
side boob.
The side boob hour! That was a really bad Lois. It was more Boston than anything.
I need to rewatch Family Guy more often.
They just added season
I know, my
15
brother's
like
watching that
today
right
or
now.
yesterday. I found out about it right before the show. I texted Craig.
I found out about it right after you found out about it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm apparently more ahead on Family Guy than you guys are. Or no way, 'cause
Well,
I've known for like
usually
4
we
days.
get-
Netflix sends emails.
Usually Craig and I get the same emails, and we didn't get the emails.
Oh, you guys wait for emails?
Well, Netflix usually sends me an email like the day before to be like,
Yeah, when
hey,
there's a new
so this
comedy
thing's
special
coming
or
out.
something.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
funny.
they've
I
been
just did
sending me emails about Brian Regan for like 3 weeks. I intend to watch it,
I have
but
the app
why
on
is
my
there no
phone.
Family Guy
Yeah.
thing?
I
I
have
don't
the
get
app
it.
on my phone, so I get notifications sometimes.
Oh, I turn
Wow.
notifications off.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I have the app. I just don't.
I
want
like
the
to know when
notifications.
I like to know when stuff comes out.
You know what I like to know?
What's
I like
that?
to know your guys' opinion on any upcoming DC movies, or any ideas like you just might have that you'd like to see happen.
Well, I watched the Justice League trailer right before we started this episode.
Well, at least
so
we know you
Operation.
watched that trailer before we see
I
it.
couldn't remember whether we said I needed to watch it before this week or not, so I did,
Well, it's up
and
to
that's
you,
about
really.
my only opinion.
We're dragging you to the movie on the weekend, anyways.
Based on the trailer, I don't think it's dragging so much as I'll go along willingly.
That's good
Well,
to hear. That's very good to hear. I like that you have a positive attitude, Craig, about this.
Of course.
So
But
what do you-
that's where it ends with me for DC. Is I'm looking forward to that, and then I don't see beyond.
You can't
Saturday.
see after that? Okay, you can't see
No.
past next week? Okay. That's fair, I guess. I'm not great at planning past the weekend either. Andrew, what kind of DC movies do you want to see after the Justice League? Besides, or like what kind of characters do you want to see, or anything really? Let me hear your
Like-
thoughts about DC.
I'm really excited to see Shazam when it comes out.
I second
Just because
that.
I loved Shazam when he was Shazam, Captain, and back when he was Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean,
Before
I
legal
don't know how
things.
The Rock's gonna do as Black Adam, but I just really want to see Shazam because Billy Batts and he's my boy. One thing, and I wrote about this in the blog post that came out on Wednesday. One thing I would really, really, really love to see is a like a movie based on Batman Incorporated.
All right. Yeah.
You know,
I can see that.
I'd love to see Nightwing. I'd love to see just Jason Todd. I'd love to see Damian Wayne.
The whole
and I'd
Bat
love,
family.
yeah, the whole thing. And I even pitched a couple of ideas for who could play those characters.
Oh, nice. In
I
the blog
didn't come.
post?
What was that? Sorry.
I said in the blog post.
In the blog post, check it out.
Double little promo for that.
But I'm gonna talk about it right now. I kind of thought, you know what? Let's make Zac Efron Nightwing.
I like that.
I feel like he's just kind of like arrogant enough, but he's also
just
a little
pretty
bit
enough,
of a sweetheart.
Yeah.
He could totally be Dick Grayson.
Exactly. I can see that. Yeah.
Oh man, who was? I think I put Daisy Ridley in there as Barbara Gordon, just because I was watching the Star Wars trailer and I was like, I love Daisy Ridley. She has a very pretty face. Let's make her Batgirl.
Let's put her in more things in general. Yeah, I like that.
I had for oh man, what's his name? Drawing a blank on his name for Batwing. Whatever Fox, I forget his first name. But Lucius Fox's son, who plays Batwing.
Yeah.
I had Corbin Blue playing his name.
Who's
or
Corbin
playing
Blue?
him.
He's
He's the other guy from High School Musical.
Oh.
Oh, right.
The black guy from High School Musical.
Right.
I was like, let's
what
get
is
this.
he doing nowadays?
I was like, let's get this chemistry going because
You know,
they
I'm
actually
on that
do
question,
have
Scott.
That's a good pitch. That's a good pitch. We can to people who are not comic book fans. Oh, check out these two reunite in a
like they
comic
had
book
the
movie.
chemistry on the screen before, so why can't they have it now, right?
Yeah, I could see that, and I like that. I'm glad you included the Batwing character. He's one of my favorite additions to the Bat family in recent years. Except I feel like they could have probably worked on his name a little more.
Yeah, rather than just steal the name of his plane.
Yeah, or yeah, I was like, I had partially thought like, should they rename the plane? But I'm like, no, I like the Batwing being the plane.
Yeah.
Rename that guy.
Yeah,
Because he was in one of the most recent DC
Batman.
animated.
Yeah, Batman Bad Blood.
Yeah, and I was watching that and I was like, okay, I like that his character, and I
And
really like his suit.
they even make a joke about it, where Nightwing's flying the plane is like Batwing, meet the Batwing.
Which normally would be okay to me. You know, they hung a lantern on it, and I'm like, as long as you do that, that's a rule. But I'm like, I felt like they obviously did it too much. You know what I mean? Like they're a little too they embraced it a little too much. I'm like, no, you got to make it a little more subtle. You know, make it like, oh, is the Batwing on the way? And then be like, no, we were talking about the plane, or something like that. You know what I mean? A little less like, oh, awkward. Maybe we should rethink this. And it's like, but. You know, it still works. I still like his character. I really like the fact that they gave Lucius Fox this kid and made him a superhero.
Oh, yeah.
I love when they do random shit like that. It's like some people hate that they're all related in comic books, and I'm like, fuck you, I like that. I've got a big family. Maybe one day I'll be a Bat family.
Hopefully.
That's all I ever hope for.
Other than Batman Incorporated, all I'm really psyched to see is the Green Lantern Corps.
Nice.
Like I'd love to see a few other things, but check out next week's blog post. But mainly, I'm gonna lean heavily on the Green Lantern Corps, just because I'm intrigued to see like who they cast in the Kyle Rayner.
They redo this, yeah.
Yeah, and I forget his name, the redhead one.
Guy Gardner. No, that's
Guy Gardner.
Okay.
Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart.
Okay. For a second, I thought that was a Flash. I'm like, damn it, did I get that mixed up?
No, you're good.
Okay, cool.
But especially for the Jon Stewart, like I feel like Idris Elba would be perfect.
I agree.
To play that character,
especially like as an older, like maybe like slightly seasoned, because
he's former Marines or former military, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
it would be perfect. No, he's got the look.
He has that military kind of look.
Yeah. Like he played it perfectly in Pacific Rim, where he was playing the Admiral.
Oh right, yeah, I forgot about that. I always forget movies that he's in. To be honest, I really enjoy him as an actor, but I don't want to say he doesn't have memorable things. Just some of the movies he does appear in, he's not always there long enough. Like in Thor, he's in all three Thors. What?
He's in The Office.
See, I didn't know that.
He plays Charles.
Idris Elba. Like which of the which? Are we talking American?
Yeah, he was
UK?
one of the
American or UK.
He was
American.
He was in the American one. He was one of the bosses after Michael Scott leaves.
Yeah,
he's the no nonsense boss.
Apparently, I've never seen
he's not after Michael Scott leaves. He's the reason that Michael Scott leaves to start the Michael Scott Paper Company.
Right.
Oh, I think
I only know this
because
I watched that like literally yesterday.
Like, don't all like the women, or doesn't one of like
Kelly loves him.
Okay, that's what it is. Okay, I'm remembering him now. I remembered him as a different actor, to be honest. That role.
You're probably thinking Will Ferrell. I
Yeah,
hope not.
that's sure. But
Or James Spader.
yeah, no, I think
Robert California.
Robert California.
I don't know what that is. Anyways, but I
Never
agree.
mind.
I definitely want
okay.
to see the Green Lantern Corps. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for all the upcoming like DC things they have planned, like Aquaman, Flash whenever they get to that, Wonder Woman 2, which will be out before Flash. Yeah, that's a thing.
2019, yeah.
Yeah, but a couple of things I wrote down I'm kind of would like to see would be maybe a couple like buddy cop type team up movies with maybe Batman and a Green Lantern, one of the Green Lanterns. I liked in one of the animated movies, you have Batman and Hal Jordan like team up for like
Justice League War.
Justice League War,
when they're trying to find the mother box and figure out what's going on.
And I really love the dynamic that those two always play off of because Batman's always the dead serious kind of like slightly grumpy, kind of gruffy guy, and then Hal Jordan's just like literally the light of the universe. He's just the most lighthearted guy.
He does not care at all.
Like not a shit to be given, and it's just like I really love the way those two play off each other because Batman isn't afraid to punch him in the face if he has to.
Oh yeah,
and he does that.
And take his ring and turn him back into Nathan Fillion.
Exactly. I just I want to see that portrayed on on the big screen. I would love to see that. So that's one of the things I had written down that I would like to kind of see. Another one I thought would be kind of a cool buddy kind of cop team up would be the Flash and Cyborg. Just because I remember, I know it's the Kid Flash in the Teen Titans and Cyborg, but I just kind of like the idea of Flash and Cyborg teaming up. I know that I'm kind of leaving out Wonder Woman, but I mean, she can hang out with Batman and Superman.
I just only want to see Gal Gadot. That's it.
That's true. I don't need to have Batman and everyone else distracting me from Gal Gadot. Just let her have her own shit.
Give me a live action Young Justice movie that focuses on Gal Gadot being their teacher, and I'd watch it nonstop forever.
Maybe. Yo, Warner Brothers, you need to get on that after.
Yo, Warner Brothers.
Hey,
listen, Hollywood.
If you're gonna scrap everything, just eventually, all you got to do is keep Gal Gadot and do that idea that Andrew just pitched. And everyone will be happy.
Young Justice with Gal Gadot teaching them how to be heroes.
Live action.
I'm down. Make it happen.
I'm down for that too. But the only other thing I kind of had was would like to see also would be like a Dark Justice League live action.
Well, that was actually in the works. They've talked about it.
Yeah, and then they fizzled out.
They talked about it, and then they put out the animated one.
Yeah,
and I thought they were doing the animated instead of live action.
But
I'm really hoping they do it because I'd love to see a big screen John Constantine.
Same here.
And Zatanna.
I agree. I'm the same way. I think maybe what happened was that everybody thought they were making a live action one, but they were only ever planning to make an animated.
Yeah. And I remember reading somewhere a while back that they are, like a couple weeks ago even, that they were talking about
still got that in
works?
Okay.
I hope so. I just really hope they use the same Constantine because he's played the voice of Constantine in the animated, and then he's been Constantine and everything.
Yeah, I really like his portrayal of it. He has such a good comic book.
He's a British asshole, and it's perfect.
And he's that perfect kind of like wiry size too that you're like, yeah, you could see how he kind of put up a little bit of a fight, but how he had to like kind of lean back on the magic sometimes.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, so I'd really like to see that as a live action, but
plus I've always loved Etrigan. Etrigan the Demon?
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, that's.
I've always loved him since I was a kid.
He was when I watched.
Gone the form of man. Rise the demon Etrigan.
I didn't know
he only speaks in rhyme.
Movie. Yeah, I didn't know who he was until actually the recent movie, the animated movie, and I really enjoyed his character after that.
What's his alter ego? Is it like Jason Blood or something like that?
Yeah, Jason Blood. I think. Something Blood. I know it's Blood.
Something Blood. That's not Brother Blood.
It's kind of badass, but it's awesome. Like
yeah,
that was a fun character. That was a good like kind of animated movie. I really enjoyed it. So like that's why I want them to make it into just a live action because I'm a sucker. For that. But that was all the ones I had for the DC. Yeah.
I think my list's done too. You got anything to add, Craig?
No, No, I'm just gonna go watch Justice League. Maybe I'll have other options later. Who knows?
Well, if you're gonna go watch Justice League, you can tell us about that next week. But why don't you tell us right now about what you watched this week?
Okay then. I have a lot to say this week. The
Call me
best
Paul
segue of
Blart.
Mall cop reference.
Mall cop reference.
Broken segue.
Okay, that's
It's funny because I've always said that Kevin James would play me in a movie if they were making a movie about my life. So it's perfect.
It would just be full of segues.
Yep.
So this
Segue
week,
on segues.
well, it was the best segue of the entire show run. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I
why
thought
not?
my singing one would have been
I
good
really
if I hadn't
enjoyed
jumped
that.
over Matt
Yeah.
Damon.
That's because you skipped on Matt Damon. I'm sorry. Anyway, speaking of Matt Damon, this week I saw Thor, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yep. I started watching some 30 Rock. I haven't.
Great choice.
I haven't watched that thing all the way through before, so I figured I might as well give it a shot.
They also have a musical episode of 30 Rock that I just thought of, where they sing "Midnight Train to Georgia." Because
That's awesome.
what's
I
his
have
name?
not got there yet.
Kenneth. Is that it? Not Kenneth. Who's the super creepy mailroom helper guy?
I haven't seen 30 Rock.
That's Kenneth.
Kenneth, yeah, that's his name. He's heading back to Georgia, and they sing to him. Oh, it's so good. Look forward to it.
You've never seen 30 Rock?
I've been meaning to get to it because it's on my Crave TV, but I haven't started it yet, to be honest.
Scott, get your head out of your
watch
ass.
I am not great at
Watch
getting
30
into
Rock.
comedies. Comedies don't always have they don't have the hook that I need.
It's
which
Tina
is,
Fey, man.
Yeah, that's pretty much all you need.
That's fair. That's a fair enough hook.
I would watch an hour every week of Tina Fey just sitting in a chair.
She can talk sometimes too.
If she wants. I mean, she doesn't have to.
I love Tina Fey. I'm not sure I love her as much as you two do. I need a little more from what I'm watching on TV.
Well, I mean,
I'm pretty much in
sitting
the
in a
middle
chair.
because I don't love Tina Fey nearly as much as Andrew does.
I have a soft spot for middle-aged brunettes, you know. I
We know
got Tina
this.
Fey, I got Sandra Bullock. I've got Shania Twain. Like I like those middle-aged kind of like dirty blonde brunettes.
And I understand that. I
So-
just 30 Rock I haven't gotten to yet because I'm not gonna get into comedies because I need a season pitch along a hook. I mean, you know what I mean, to get me into a
It's
show.
It's got
entertaining.
Alec Baldwin, bro.
That's my pitch. Is it's entertaining.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's entertaining. Anyways, what
That's
else did you
true.
watch, Craig? Let's not get into why I don't watch some stuff because I'm the one with the longest list of what I watched this week. I am 100% sure.
That's fair. That's fair.
I watched Doctor Strange last night.
Nice.
Mostly because I hadn't realized that it was a thing until we started talking about it, and I enjoyed that. It's very visually complex,
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the great
for
part
sure,
about
yeah.
it. Yeah.
but I
Great
I did
acid
like
trip
it.
movie.
I don't understand any of it, but I enjoyed it.
What do you mean you don't understand it? Let's unfold this.
I have no idea how it fits into anything. All I know is that it's a it's a thing.
They're
doesn't-
just trying to
see it as
introduce
a
magic into the
Yeah,
the
that's-
MCU.
it
because
doesn't-
I see it as an entirely standalone thing aside
It
from the
was.
offhand reference that they made to the Avengers and then the fact that he ended up in the Thor movie. But that's about it.
You got it all right though. That's what it was.
There we go.
That's
That's
why
what they're
even
going for.
in the Thor movie, he's like, "Oh, Earth has wizards now."
Exactly. and
Because
that's,
up in Asgard, they didn't realize that Midgard had magic.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
there
so
you go.
you hit
So
it
I
on
got
the
it.
nail. Yeah, because it was a standalone. It was just them introducing that character for the next phase, and for him to be able to pop into the other movies.
There you go.
And into,
So-
like
so
Andrew
it wasn't
said,
as
yeah,
it wasn't as complicated as I thought. And then the last thing that I watched, which took up a lot of my time, I watched Blade Runner 2049, the new one.
did you see
It's
it
a
in theater?
long movie. Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
Okay, just making sure.
It's a long movie. Remember how
Yeah.
we talked last episode about, or was it last episode, about how Transformers for me was like the first movie where I realized that it was really long?
Yep.
This is
This
yeah,
would be
Yep.
this is the direct opposite of that. This is the movie where I was like, man, what time is it? Holy crap, it's 10 o'clock. The movie just started, but it in reality had been 3 hours.
Oh, well, that's good that you were intrigued by it enough that you kind of lost in how long it was.
I think what did it for it was, rather than what you typically see in a movie that's that long, where they kind of have a resolution halfway through that gets blown out of the water right before they finish it, and then it comes back again.
Yeah.
And that's how they kind of give it a second life for the rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
This one didn't.
Okay.
No, it was just the entire plot line the entire way through. But it was 3 hours long.
It was a 3-hour story. Like, it took 3 hours for it to unfold.
Exactly.
Okay, that's cool.
And it didn't feel like they drew anything out either.
Had you seen the original or the first one?
No, I have not seen the first one.
Okay. Were you confused at all because of that?
Nope.
That's good.
It kind of...
It does a little explainer at the beginning, I heard.
Well, I kind of see it as similar to, and this is going to be a bad example, but Tron and Tron Legacy, if you've seen either one of those
No,
movies.
I think that's a really good comparison, actually.
Yeah, where Tron Legacy is kind of a standalone on its own. It's basically like, it feels like the same movie.
Yeah, because I've never seen
when
the
you
original
think about
Tron.
it when you think about it on the surface, it feels like the same movie. They were made around the same, like Tron and Blade Runner were kind of made around the same time.
Yeah.
And you get the callback of the original actor that was the main character in the first movie that ends up in the second movie.
No, that's a very good comparison, I think. Like, that's a really good... Because I actually had never seen the original Tron, and then I saw Tron Legacy, and I wasn't confused at all. So that's good that you weren't confused with Blade Runner, because I've seen the original, so that's why I'm waiting to go see this one, because I knew how long it was. I can't hold my bladder for 3 hours.
I'm usually like that too, but I didn't have any issues. And I saw it with my brother, and he's like, I was about to go to the bathroom, and then I looked at the watch, and it was 9:30, and I was like, it's almost done. It's not worth it.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
yeah, that's another example of how it...
Turns out there was another 142 minutes left.
Imagine the
That's
extended cut.
That's just trying to get Harrison Ford to finish talking.
Does he have some long lingering speeches in this one?
No, not really. He doesn't talk a whole lot, but
Okay, that sounds like
he's
Harrison
very
Ford.
slow and deliberate when he does.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
That's fair.
Could you imagine if Blade Runner was just like a weird crossover between like Indiana Jones getting picked up and taken to the future? It would
I'd
blow
like
my
that.
mind.
I would love that. I'd be down for that. There's this comic actually crossover that I've heard of that has Han Solo crash in like it goes through like this time vortex and crashes, and then eventually Indiana Jones finds his ship.
Weren't we just talking about this?
That's a really good that's the better way to do it, rather than have it go the other way around where Indiana Jones goes somewhere else to have them crash land. That's a way more continuous.
Yeah,
idea.
that's already been taken. That's a comic book already, but you can look that up somewhere apparently.
That's fine. I'm gonna look that up.
I feel like we've already talked about that.
Yeah,
Either
I
that
definitely
or-
pitched that probably during our one episode, to be honest.
Because I remember hearing it. I can't remember if it was from us. Man, we talk a lot.
Yeah, well, that's what the podcast is about.
No kidding.
Fair
well,
enough.
I guess since you've got a really long list, Scott, we'll go to Andrew. What did you watch this week?
I watched Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, we talked about that for 45 minutes.
Yep.
Was that all?
That was I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure that was it. I rewatched The Office yesterday while doing some housework.
Okay.
I'm gonna dive head first into season 15 of Family Guy for next week. Oh, one thing I did continue watching, and this actually caught me off guard. I was watching Batman the Animated Series.
Okay.
I watched one episode. I can't remember what it was called, but it's season 1. And it kind of goes through Batman, but he watched a show when he was a kid called The Grey Ghost.
Okay.
And he kind of emulates his Batman character after this Grey Ghost
Okay, so it's like
superhero.
where he got his inspiration for it.
Yeah. And it's Adam West who voices the Grey Ghost.
Oh, that's awesome.
And,
I love when shows do little things like that.
Like when they use was it John Wesley's ship in The Flash.
Yeah. Or actually, this week, which relates into one of the things I wrote, they had a couple Smallville references on Supergirl this week. They had the Lois Lane. They had the Lois Lane from Smallville. She was on for like 5 minutes.
Love her.
Because I think she actually plays like Kara's mom, even though we don't see Kara's mom really ever. But this is a little bit of a spoiler, I guess, for the episode. But like John John like turns himself into like looking kind of like into her, so that like to kind of It's the whole thing. Anyways, the point
It's the
is
whole thing.
Yeah, it's part of the episode. It's hard to explain. It's the whole explanation. But anyways, the point is she popped up for like 5 minutes, and I always love when TV shows do stuff like that. But yeah, that happened in Supergirl.
It helps that she's a total babe, right?
Well, that's exactly why I like it. Like, I loved her when, like, as soon as she showed up on Smallville, I started rewatching all episodes of Smallville twice a week. Starting then, because, whoo, I love me some Erica. I think her name's Erica something. Anyways, but yeah, so that was one of the Smallville references on Supergirl. The other one, what was the other one? Oh, they referenced to Chloe Sullivan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and like the Wall of Weird. Like,
okay.
They're doing like you didn't watch Supergirl this week, I guess?
No, I usually just binge watch it when it comes out in the season.
So they did this like little flashback to Kara and what's her sister as like when they're younger, like teenagers, and it's like one of the things like the teenagers are talking about is that one of them has a friend who's good with computers. Her name's Chloe, and she has this wall of weird. And I was like, I know what that's Smallville on Supergirl. And I love shit like that, so I had to write that down and just bring that up about Supergirl because I know we always keep up with the DC shows, but I just wanted to bring that up for that one.
Fair enough. What else you got?
Oh, well, I actually, like Craig said, I watched quite a bit this week because that's all I do with my life. Anyways, I went to the one thing I saw in theaters this week besides Thor was I saw The Foreigner, which is Jackie Chan and Pierce Brosnan. And Jackie,
how was it?
It was just great. The only like complaint I would have is that Jackie Chan doesn't get to be funny in this one. But that's just because that's not the type of movie this is. It's a serious movie, but for a serious movie, it's really like badass. It's pretty intense. He's kind of he's sort of a bad guy in it, sort of not. It's a little bit weird how it works, but it was really interesting in like kind of seeing how he's like, I don't know if you've seen a trailer for it, but like he's trying to like figure out who killed his daughter. So he's going through some crazy shit to figure it out, and it's really intense. And Pierce Brosnan's pretty badass in it too. So yeah, it was really, I would recommend it to anybody who likes Jackie Chan in general, but also wants to see also anybody who just enjoys a good like action thriller, because it's pretty intense. It reminds me like a little bit of like I'm blanking on what movie I'm thinking of now. I don't want to say Bourne, but kind of like Bourne kind of action, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. Where he's kind of like on the run type thing.
Yeah, well, not too much on like the run as much as like the not like the premise as much as the like the types of action scenes I meant. Like kind of a little bit more close, but really intense and kind of like of the moment. You know what I mean? Like not like, oh, he walks into like a room full of things. More like these guys happen to find him somewhere and he has to like deal with it that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, but so that was really enjoyable. I would recommend going and see that. You could probably wait to see it on DVD, but
truth be told, I probably won't watch it. I've never been too much of a fan of Jackie Chan.
I don't
mind his like real old kung fu movies. Yeah. But other than Rush Hour,
you might like this one more than anything because this is more like one of those than his comedy ones.
Okay. Maybe I will check it out.
Because his daughter died. So there's literally not one joke in the whole movie.
Okay. Because the worst, I think the thing that killed Jackie Chan for me was that Around the World in 80 Days.
I could see that.
I loved that book as a kid.
I used to love that movie.
That
movie was a disappointment for everybody. Like
the only good thing about it is that they brought Arnold in.
I was ashamed of Arnold in that situation though. I'm just like, Arnold, stop being a perv. You big muscular man. He's trying to perv on the one girl in the situation. Yeah. It's like
Young Craig loved that movie though.
I liked it when I was younger
too.
Young
Craig didn't have much taste apparently.
It doesn't age well now. It doesn't age with us.
Duly noted. I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know why I really like Jackie Chan, but this one's definitely more on his serious level, so it's not him, stumbling around into situations, which I always liked, but I could see why, Andrew, you might not have liked that because it's kind of goofy, but I really enjoyed that. I like how I feel like after he did the Drunken Master kung fu movie, America decided that they just wanted him to always be the drunken master, but not drunk.
Yeah.
And that's what I enjoy, is that he's always kind of like almost like that, because he's always like kind of like stumbling, not like clumsy. He's a little bit clumsy, like, because he doesn't want to always be in the situation. Like, he doesn't want to fight, but he always ends up having to fight his way out of these situations. So I guess I could see why you don't like him. I just love Jackie Chan, but this one I would say, if you were gonna watch a Jackie Chan movie, this would probably be one that you might enjoy, because it also does focus a lot on Pierce Brosnan. Like, I would say it's 50-50 between him and Pierce Brosnan, because Jackie Chan is trying to like get Pierce Brosnan to give up the answers for like who killed his daughter, and so it's really interesting dynamic between them, and you see Pierce Brosnan trying to figure the whole thing out too, because he actually doesn't know, and there's a lot of plot in it, because I don't want to ruin it too much for you, but it's a lot of like it's about like the Irish Republican
You had me,
Army.
man. I don't even care about the rest. You have me hooked.
Okay, well, it's all in Ireland, so.
God damn it, man! You should have led with that.
My bad. I forgot that. I always forget that that's such a thing for you. You know, like if you said
I get psyched
if you
about
said this
that.
was in Ukraine, it wouldn't automatically make me watch it, or in France.
That's
in
fair.
fact, if it was in France, I'd be like, I don't know, man. Like, we left for a reason.
Sounds like we lose.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say this one you'd probably enjoy that. But some other things I checked out this week was I watched Logan on Netflix.
Was this the first time you've seen it?
No, I saw it in theaters, but I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters, so I had to rewatch that on Friday nights. That was enjoyable. Logan's always great to rewatch. I think I really like it because it's such a different comic book movie, and you know, shit happens in it. It's one of the better like stories, I think, too.
It's honestly, it's my favorite X-Men movie.
I would second that. Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite too, because it's the most like you see him being the most like Wolverine, even though he's old man Wolverine. It's like you see him like actually just ripping through people, but he doesn't want to always. Like he only does it because they pissed him off, and like that's the way that he has to stop.
He kind of sees himself as being retired, right?
Exactly, and like he's too old for that shit. That's my favorite part about it. I kind of wish he had said that at one point. But he's just too old for this shit. And I really enjoyed Logan, so I'm probably gonna end up rewatching that again before it gets taken off Netflix, just on a regular basis. But the other thing I wanted to mention was I watched the Inhumans finale.
Okay.
The first season's done. It was 8 episodes. I thought they did a really good job of concluding, wrapping up the season and leaving a good cliffhanger for if they are able to do another season, or if they just have to end the show completely because not enough people liked it.
Now here's my question: do you think it's worth a second season?
I think it is for like story purposes.
Does Medusa ever grow her hair back?
Well, that's what I mean. Like that's like what I would like to see in a second season. So that's what I
Because
mean
like
by
personally,
story
I
purposes.
think I liked her without the hair. I think she looked better with short hair.
She looked hotter with short hair.
Yeah.
But I think that's also because she had just dressed in Earth clothing after that.
That's fair. That's
like
fair.
So for the 8 episodes, she had her hair for half of the first one.
Okay.
So I would like to see a second season where she gets to use her hair a little bit more. I get why they couldn't. It's really expensive to do the CGI on her hair. In the first episode, she had some badass like
She like
fight
picks
scene
him
with
up
her hair.
off the ground.
Yeah,
and-
exactly. And it's like I could get why that'd be a little more expensive throughout a whole season, but I would like to see her hair come back. And I just want to know what happens to some of them throughout this, because
It's got to be better than the elongated man stretching in the Flash, because that just looks like they took some silly putty and stretched it.
I think it was better than that. I feel like a lot of people hold up CGI to like such a high standard sometimes, and I'm like, if it doesn't look like garbage, like if it doesn't look like I made it, I think it's good enough, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like if it doesn't look like some like
people
college
want to
kids
watch
project.
a free show on TV and not pay for it, and then complain that it's not top quality.
Exactly. And well, I get why people complained about I could see why people were allowed to complain a little more about Inhumans, because it had a lot of hype. It did have a couple, like the whole IMAX hype with it. It had the first 2 episodes in IMAX for like a week. But that was also kind of, I think, more contractual deal than it was necessarily like
I think they were just trying to build hype up for it because they were a lesser known entity.
Well, I think I agree. But what I meant was, I think the reason they did it was because, like, I think originally it was supposed to be a movie.
It was, it was supposed to be Phase 4
and
or
that's when they
something.
had signed up with IMAX, was when they were doing a movie. And with an IMAX movie would have made sense, because then they could have put a movie in normal theaters and in IMAX.
Yeah.
But when they switched it to a TV show, I feel like they couldn't get out of the deal with IMAX. Like IMAX maybe like when they signed that deal with IMAX, IMAX agrees to pay for the cameras. That's why IMAX agrees to do it, right? And so that saves them that bit of money. So I feel like they probably had already signed the contract with IMAX, and they're like, shit. So we got to do this TV show with IMAX now, and so they had to shift a little bit of the budget around here and there, and it didn't work out as well, and that's why they had to go with IMAX, like put it in IMAX. Does that make sense? That's just my theory, at least. That's just my like made up business theory on it. For where the way I could see why they ended up going that way, because there's no other reason for it to be an IMAX. You know what I mean? Like there's no good reason. No TV show ever puts anything in theaters. There's a reason. You can't tell. TV shows are meant to be told over a whole season, not 2 episodes. So you can't go see just part of a story in 2 episodes. So it was just a bad model. But I do hope they continue it. I wanted to know I know you haven't checked it out yet, but I'm curious if you're ever planning to, or if
I think I'm gonna wait for it to come out on DVD.
Okay.
And then buy it and binge it, add it to the collection, and then binge it.
Okay, well it's only 8 episodes, so
okay,
it won't be that bad for you to binge. I hope they do too. I hope they bring a second season out, because once you watch the first season, you'll have a couple like, oh, I'm curious what happens to this and that, and like. It does have all shows have their complaints, but I enjoyed it. I like the characters. They ended off the season with them all in their what's it called, comic book costumes.
Okay.
So that was
Black
nice.
Bolt gets his little tuning fork.
No, that's the only thing he was missing, but he had the proper coat on. So he just didn't have the helmet on. Medusa had her purple dress on, and the other people were all set up. So I would like to see how it goes. But we'll see. But that's all I watched this week. But man, you know what we forgot?
What was that?
We forgot to tell the people that we were supposed to have some special guests today.
Oh man. Yeah.
But we ran a little late.
Guys, we had a pretty important team who was supposed to come here, but it's just us. Instead of being the Justice League.
Yeah, we're not sure what happened to them. I'm checking my phone now, because I put my phone across the room because it was interfering with the recording before, and I'm checking it now, and Bruce, I'm sorry, Mr. Wayne, that's for you people. Bruce had texted me and said they had an emergency, so they couldn't.
Whoa! So the Justice League is doing something. And there's a problem at Wayne Enterprises. Oh my gosh. Man.
I'm guessing so. They were supposed to come together. That's why, like, I thought it was supposed to be like a thing.
Okay.
Like Bruce, like I don't personally know the Justice League as much as I'd like to. We were supposed to meet for the first time today. Bruce was setting it up because I know Bruce. Me and Bruce are tight. Bruce knows the Justice League. I don't know how. I think he funds something or something like that.
Finances them or something.
I don't know. It's just there's some way. I think he built a statue for Batman.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Anyways, but Bruce knows them, and so he was supposed to connect us. But there was apparently some emergency. I think in either Gotham or Metropolis or somewhere in between. I don't know. He didn't give me very many details. You know how billionaires can be. They're a little vague with the details.
Yeah, I know how we can be sometimes.
Exactly. So I'm gonna have to I'll talk to Alfred to get more details. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, luckily for you, I have Mr. Freeze over here. Hey guys, it's Mr. Freeze. I just want to say that Batman blowing you off is very cold.
I'm so happy that as soon as I heard you say Mr. Freeze, I'm like, oh, here comes the sword
It's
scene.
Arnold.
Here comes Arnold. Oh, I'm Mr. Ice Christmas.
I'm Mr. Snow.
Oh.
So hopefully next week we might actually get the legitimate Justice League on here to talk to you guys.
Yes, hopefully they'll be able to stop by. Like they were sending us some Instagram videos before, so like obviously they don't mind helping us out. So hopefully they'll stop by and chat with us a little bit. Tell us a story or two. Let us know how the making of the movie went. Like, it must have been crazy having to like get followed around by some camera crews and be superheroes. Like, they had to
Did you do a documentary?
exactly. Like, that's crazy. Like I've always been baffled how superheroes handle saving the world and getting filmed at the same time. I struggle with it. The saving the world part, I mean. Being in front of camera is nothing. It's the saving the world. I'm just like, I don't get it, guys. How do you do it?
They're being followed around. They're probably making some serious ice.
That was bad. Get out of here, Mr. Freeze. You
Get
suck.
out of here, Arnold.
Your puns are terrible, Mr. Freeze.
Let me just say that my two favorite things so far have been Just Us and Batman standing you up has been cold. That
Puns, man. That's how we do it on the Forgot
I don't
to Grow
even
Up
know if I
podcast.
can figure out how to.
that's the
I don't
only way
even know if
Mr.
I can
Freeze knows
figure out
how
how
to
to end the
talk.
episode based on that. Just like I'm so distracted now.
Well, if you guys wanted to leave some comments in the little comment section for us, we'd love to talk about them.
We should ask them a question for them to answer as
Ooh.
a comment. That's what I see on other like podcasts and YouTube videos.
That
Do you
is a
have any
very
ideas
ice
then,
idea.
Scott?
Very ice idea.
So why don't you guys tell us what you're excited about most for the Justice League coming up this week, or any DC films you'd like to see, or anything like that. Any comments, really. But that's the generic question I'll give you guys so that you guys got something to work
Nice.
with. Just,
I like it.
just
Make sure you
something.
hit us up.
Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
I'm not gonna do it.